What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 with our Italian playthrough. We did, of course, start off very slowly with a weak economy, but however, our empire has expanded. We still kind of have a weak economy compared to a lot of other countries like the German Reich. I mean, hey, they have all of the UK, Norway, Denmark, all of Germany. They have all of the USSR, and they're just continuing to expand. Now, we are fighting a superior foe, and surprisingly enough, we are winning. The United States has more military factories and civilian factories than we do. Looking at their details, they probably have around 380 military factories, and we only have 250. So they're outproducing us, and they have roughly 140 civilian factories. We have more than them. So what they're doing now is they're changing over a lot of their civilian factories to military factories, so they're ruining their economy, which I don't mind, don't get me wrong, but it's very hard to keep up with this superpower type of mentality. Another thing that I do want to mention is looking at their details. They actually have total mobilization, which I find very bizarre, and they only have the service by requirement conscription law. So they have a -3% recruitable population, and eventually they're probably going to go to all adult serve, and then have even worse factory output, worse dockyard output, but we're going to see exactly what happens. So right now we're trying to obliterate the US, we're having a little bit of trouble, and I think one of our biggest issues that will come soon enough is our lack of infantry equipment. And, you know, obviously we're losing a lot of it every single day, as a lot of that infantry equipment just plows on through to the other end. We are eventually working on better motorized, still working on a lot of infantry equipment as well. I'm thinking what we'll do, I am going to be using all of these modern tanks. It's just not working out the way we planned, because they obviously outproduce us in pretty much every single way, and it's making it very challenging. Looking at our actual leader, he's now level 6, almost level 7. We are a defensive doctrine, what's his name? Not a general, but a field marshal. We are a logistics wizard and an offensive doctrine, so own combat width reduced by -10%. We are building up our radar station inside Chihuahua. It was a level 0 radar station, but now we are building it up to hopefully level 6. But I'm going to try to take it one step at a time. Yucatan obviously was at a level 0 radar station, almost at level 6 as well. And so the idea is if we actually had vision of the Gulf of Mexico, we could basically bomb the heck out of whatever Navy units they had, or maritime vessels. They only have 18 ships left in their entire Navy, which I find very surprising. And I wish we could just keep pushing against the US, but I don't know if this is really that viable of a plan. Another thing that we probably should do is, instead of air production, let's switch on over to better repairing. Here it is, construction repair. So now everything gets repaired twice as fast, and the free repairs are twice as fast as well. The reason why I did that is we're probably going to have to repair everything inside Texas, and it's probably going to be a little bit of a challenge. Still waiting on the German Reich to have a successful naval invasion. I have no idea if that will ever happen, but we're going to try our best here. And unfortunately, I think what we're going to also do is start producing a lot more actual infantry equipment. Like, we're down to 53,000. Oh my goodness. What is the best way to go about this? Obviously, we're building more. We might lose this fight. They outproduce us, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So all they have to do is wait. And, you know, ultimately, we're putting up a good fight, don't get me wrong. Another thing that I'm trying to do is get them to switch their conscription law. It's still service by requirement. You would think it would change to all adult serve. I guess right now, their manpower is obviously slowly being diminished. Down to they're losing about 20,000 manpower every single day. So eventually that is going to switch on over. Once they go to all adult serve, the factory output's going to go way down. The dockyard output's going to go down. Construction's going to go down. Training time's going to go up. It's, you know, it's going to be a pretty big challenge. But also, so is having negative infantry equipment. Like, this is really not sustainable. And we're not even doing that well. All of our modern tanks are getting annihilated. And you know what? We're having problems. Let's go ahead and also move these units on up just a little bit. And much like... Ooh, we need a much better air base. The air base, I believe, is inside Chihuahua. So let's push that up. Air bases do construct fairly quickly. Or at least they should. Field hospitals have been unlocked, so we're now going to be conserving a lot of manpower, even though we don't necessarily need it. But I think it's going to be more important about preserving a little bit of our actual experience. Still waiting for the German Reich to do an invasion. They have 7 units in the Bahamas. Any day now, I would love the German Reich to be successful. I don't know. I mean, obviously they took the UK. Was not expecting that at all. And obviously the USSR no longer exists, so all of these resources are being flown into Germany. And they have 539 military factories. That's literally double what I have. And their economy is almost double. They also have all adult serve, and they have 5 million manpower. So really the German Reich could just single-handedly obliterate the US. But we really can't do anything to secure victory. So one thing I might do is build up a fairly formidable defense. I don't know. I mean, if we're holding the line, that's one thing. But if I start building up a variety of, military bases, we might be able to hold the line. And you know what? We're not going to win this. Let's go ahead, start holding the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think I want Chihuahua. So this is going to be our new front line, if it's even possible. And obviously we're still going to try to work on a lot of these areas. Let's remove some of these. And the idea is, like I said, I really don't know if we're going to be able to really fall back. And let's go ahead and take some of these mountaineers. And we're going to try to do a small retreat. Fallback line, looking for you. I don't know why it's doing this. So we're going to try to fall on back. Let's give you this general. And the idea is basically just hold the line while we do some construction. And surprisingly enough, everything is good except for this one small province inside Chihuahua. So therefore, we are going to take this, switch you on back, and go like that. And all we really need is preferably like a level 4 or level 5 fort. And then the enemy can't really swarm us. But there's nothing I can do. I mean, obviously they have a much, much, much better military factory output than we do. But their civilian factories are dwindling. And I guess that's nice. I'm gonna need these military factories sometime soon. And also, I'm going to try throwing on a few other mountaineers. Now have 26. Let's also give you this field marshal, who is almost level 5. No, nowhere near level 5. And I also am going to strategically redeploy. Maybe we can make it there on time. Yeah, the US just has more units than we do, and there's nothing we can do. Except pray that the German Reich comes to our aid. They're already beginning an invasion of Canada. Eventually, more and more units will flow in. So while we attack from the south, the German Reich will attack from the north. And we've actually taken over a lot of Texas, so we're probably destroying a lot of their economy right now. Mountaineer infantry has been unlocked. I guess I could get better rockets. I don't really plan on doing anything with those. And we could also get... yeah, I don't really plan on doing anything. I guess we'll get strategic bombers. We're never going to use them. But as long as we start actually producing some of these defenses, I think we could hold the line. We are down 8,000 modern tanks. Yeah, this is definitely not sustainable. And another thing, should I be building up a lot of this infrastructure? Probably. And so I think we will. Got 500 air experience. Let's go ahead and add more agility to our tactical bombers. And there we have it. 5 reliability, 5 bombing, and 5 engines. This is the 2 series that we're now building. Somewhere. There it is. Almost the 1st of January, 1948. All of our mountaineers appear to be making their way down. They're not actually in their positions just yet. But they're slowly making it. I'm still trying to get a small few units inside Durango. How is the invasion of Canada coming along? Very poorly. And it looks like this is a boat. Which doesn't make sense. Alright, well anyway, more and more medium tanks are making their way into Canada. I wish we were still producing more modern tanks, but unfortunately we are not. And it's kind of getting laggy. I guess we could unlock better paratroopers, or at least paratroopers to begin with. And this is pretty much our Let's Play. Yeah, there's not really much you can do when you're playing as Italy, and obviously the United States has a much better economy than we do. I mean, let's take a quick glance. Blitzkrieg has been unlocked, which is actually pretty good. Now we have more organization and recovery rate for all of our tanks. Unfortunately, we're now out of tanks. Planning speed, plus 20%. Recovery rate and organization is nice, but it's not that great either. But we're moving down the tree. It's a lot of bonuses. It's a lot better than not having anything at all. And we're finally building up all of our forts. Slowly but surely. Can I actually send all of our military police over? I probably can. 40 divisions.
Commanded.
And much like before, all we're going to do is basically just garrison up these areas. And basically try to prevent any resistance from forming. Mountaineers still getting into place, and surprisingly, I think we've lost our very first province, so we can't have that happen. Let's send all of our Mountaineers on up, or at least 3 units. We finally retaken the area, but one of our biggest goals is probably to start building up some land forts in the area. And obviously begin, getting entrenched. That might help out. The U.S. is pushing back, but the German Reich is stationary. You would think they would continue moving, but they haven't even really moved. They do own the port, which is nice, I think they're sending in more troops. Still don't know. And at least now we're finally building up our actual defenses. So we have 1 plus 2. I want 3 in every area. And that'll look nice.
Formazione.
And once we actually have somewhat of a defense, I'll probably do my retreat. But it's going to be probably a couple months until we actually get there. Looks like Durango has been taken again. I don't like how it's going to be this constant fighting. And the sooner we get that better land fort, the better off we will be. Looking for Durango. I'm guessing we're going to have to re-queue it. Ah, they now have an armored division, which looks like a modern tank and 2 light tanks, not only with motorized, but also mechanized. Alright, we don't control this tank, which upsets me.
Non fermatevi!
Okay, looking at the US, they are still on service by requirement, and they're down to about 480,000 manpower. Still not draining as quickly as we would like. Did we ever take back Durango? Yes, we did. So now that means building up those land forts. You go up, you go push to the top. Okay, this land fort is still being destroyed. You would think if we actually had higher levels, we would really do well. But it's not working the way we'd planned. And I'm down so... Oh, atomic bomb. Over, I believe this is San Antonio. Oh, that was Dallas. Yep. Dallas has been bombed with an atomic bomb. Was not really expecting that. There goes the radar station and air base. Their infrastructure is just annihilated. And that's just not just Dallas, but that's all of Texas. Huh. Well, you would think the German Reich would do a better job. I'm wondering who actually did the bombing. Was it Japan or was it the German Reich? Well, nevertheless, we are still going ahead and doing our pushing. Is there anything that we can do? Ireland has capitulated. So I'm guessing, yep, they've taken over the Northern Ireland and they've taken over Ireland itself. So the UK territory. And there's literally nothing I can do. They're doing some invasions to the north, even though there's no units here. That's odd. Is Japan doing anything to Hawaii? No. They're still dealing with a lot of the territory down here. The British Raj is being dealt with. Yeah, I don't think we can really defeat the US. It looks like Japan did a naval invasion inside Florida. If they could somehow take a port, they would do well. There's only 12 units, though. I don't expect much. Wow, they've landed inside, I believe this is Mobile, Alabama. It's going to be a while before the U.S. actually capitulates, though, which makes me sad. We have negative 80,000 infantry equipment. So we are definitely doing very poorly. But our number one option is obviously just to build up our forts. We have a level 2 fort here, still being removed in a lot of areas. And all we need to do is just remove this tank. And then build up our forts. Now we have a level 4 fort, or at least we will once we start constructing one. And instead of, doing an aggressive battle plan, we'll probably do a balanced battle plan. Does Mobile, Alabama, is it still held by the Japanese? Yes, it is, but it's not going to be for long. Japanese still trying to invade Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Looking at Canada, the port of Halifax, inside Nova Scotia, is still held by the German Reich. And other than that, I think we are going to go ahead and end this episode. Not really much had happened other than, you know, having some sort of a very rough standoff between the Mexican opposition, or at least the units within their actual territory, which is obviously us, and against the U.S. itself. They've managed to push back into the Mexican territory from Houston, and actually, after being bombed here in Dallas, they've continued to push back as well. Well, thank you all for joining me. I guess I will see you in our next adventure.